chain migration and ending the diversity lottery would prevent a lot of people, decent people, from coming to this country. What's their argument against financing a border wall? Why do you think they oppose that?
Well, as you know, they all voted for a border barrier, a hard physical border barrier back in 2006, the Secure Fence Act. Joe Biden voted for it, Barack Obama voted for it, Hillary Clinton voted for it, etc. So that's it's just a new position they apparently have, that they're opposed to any.
But what animates it? Why is that an absolute sticking point for Democrats? A bunch of them have said, including in leadership, we're not supporting anything that includes financing a border wall. Why? What's their objection to that?
If Democrats oppose a border wall, they're just saying they want continued, unending illegal immigration. But let me deal with your other question, too. You talked about, they say, well, if you have chain migration, it could keep good people out. There's 7 billion people in the world. Most of them are good, hardworking, decent, honest, principled people. But the reality is there's a limit to how many people any country can bring in. And we as a country have a right to say we want to bring people in based on their ability to contribute to our economy, to be safe, productive citizens, and to uplift the nation as a whole. You think about our current system of chain migration, Tucker. So over the last 10 years, we've admitted about 10 million people through our chain migration system. To understand how many people that is, you're talking about every hour, that's about the size of a high school auditorium. Every day, it's the size of a large high school. Every week, a small city. Every month, a medium to average sized city. And every year, a very large city, a city the size of Washington, D.C., or almost to San Francisco, every single year, just through chain migration. What's the effect of that on taxpayers? What's the effect of that on wage earners? What's the effect of that?
And that's legal.
Right. That's just folks coming in on green cards through chain migration.
So I always ask this question of proponents of immigration, including of illegal immigration. What's the ideal number of immigrants, people from other countries, moving here every year?
Right, and oftentimes they don't have an answer to that question.
Well, what's your answer?
I have my own views on it, but I think the important point is that ending chain migration, as the president has called for, is necessary not just for economic security, but for national security. You saw the recent attempted terrorist attack in New York. The individual who came here was brought through the chain migration system. Right, they came through a nephew green card.
Right,
and that's just not a smart way for a country to run its immigration system.
So what should be the criteria for entry in the United States?
Donald Trump supported the RAISE Act, and it looked at things like, what's your proficiency in the language? What economic skills do you have? Do you have a background in sciences? Do you have a background in engineering? Do you have a background in law?
We need a merit-based system. That'd be good,
obviously.
wouldn't it?
You bring in immigrants who are in their 80s or 90s, that's going to have a significant expense on society. So you want folks primarily in their working years.
But what about, we interviewed someone last week who said, well, who will pick the strawberries? How many
got the robots ready.
Low-wage, low-skilled immigrants do we need a year for the ag sector?
Well, as you know, only about 1% of the immigrant population of the country works in agriculture. So it's discussed a lot, but it's a very small portion of the overall labor force. The typical job that a lower skilled immigrant worker might do might be construction work, it might be hospitality work, it might be restaurant work, or it might be not working at all and just going onto the welfare system if there isn't a job for that individual.
So if there's no clear economic rationale for our current immigration system, and it doesn't sound like there is one, there's no economist saying we need to bring in this number of low-skilled immigrants, then why does the Democratic Party support our current system and want to liberalize our current system so vehemently? What motivates them?
Well, you're asking the right question. But I think in the context of this debate, the question that the president is putting before the American people is, when we have an immigration system, whose needs are we fundamentally trying to serve? The needs of special interests, the needs of politicians, the needs of foreign countries and foreign nationals, and the needs of our own country and our own workers. And so at the end of the day, our hope for a bipartisan deal is that you could have enough Democrats say that, listening to the voters and the voice of the American people, we want a system that serves American workers first. And what Donald Trump has done that's so exceptional is, for the first time that I can remember, for the first time you can probably remember, we have a president of this country who, he talks about immigration, he talks about what is right for the everyday, hardworking person.
So we're almost out of time, so I just want to get to the one quick political question, which is, Democrats have said they're not going to come to any deal with these three components in it: border wall, reducing chain migration, ending diversity lottery. where's the wiggle room on the
Dems,
White House side?
Them Dems really
Democrats
suck.
ultimately have to make a choice.
I don't like Democrats.
Benefit to illegal immigrants. We're saying to them, if you want to make that
They're
deal,
going crazy.
you have to deliver
They
benefits
want
to
to take
American
away
families
freedom
and
of
American taxpayers
speech
too.
and
If
religion.
both sides are willing to agree
All
to
kinds
that,
of
Tucker,
crap.
then we can have a deal. And most importantly, we can have an immigration system that
They
10,
want to turn
20,
America
30,
into
50 years from
England.
now produces more assimilation, higher wages, more economic opportunity, and better prospects for immigrants and U.S.-born alike.
Stephen Miller, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Well, negotiations over DACA are ongoing, as you just heard, and the stakes are high. How high are they politically? Well, one progressive group, maybe one of the biggest, is now admitting that amnesty for illegal immigrants is central to the Democratic Party's political future. The Center for American Progress Action Fund recently sent out a letter demanding the Democratic Party stand up to the Republicans in the White House.
Look
to
at them
defend DACA.
libtards.
We're going to get to the debate
There's
in
a
just a minute.
Supreme
This is the
Leader,
president
Trump.
live on a football field in Atlanta.
Yeah. Supreme Leader.
I believe we're
That's
going to listen
Trump.
to the national anthem.
Who's the camera guy? Dang. There he is. The Emperor, Trump. Damn. Who the hell's got the camera? God, I can't bring it over. I think the camera guy's a snowflake. I'm gonna get on Herman. That's Trump. He stopped that Democrat socialist crap. He's a good president. I wish the libtards would leave him alone. Them damn snowflakes. That's Trump.
President of the United States on the field at the national championship in Atlanta, Georgia, with the color guard. Of course, that was, needless to say, the national anthem, standing for it.
Blue lightning.
All right,
Kind of
we'll
read.
get back to our interview on the question of DACA. Henry Fernandez is a fellow at the Center for American Progress. It's one of the biggest progressive groups in Washington. That's the Action Fund sister organization. He joins us tonight. Mr. Fernandez,